My name is Brent Bumgarner, 35 years old, from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay, but and you've competed as a bodybuilder before, and now you're going to be transferring over to Classic Physique. Can you go ahead and tell us what made you make that decision and what you like about it, the new division?
Yeah, I competed in bodybuilding as a teenager, 15, 16 years ago. And my heart's always been in bodybuilding. I tried to do men's physique for a little bit just because, some of the open shows, these guys were just really heavily muscled, and, I knew that I could only go so far. So I tried men's physique, didn't do too well in it, bounced around to different organizations just trying to find somewhere where my body would fit. And luckily they came out with the Classic Physique last year. And so I decided this year, probably with the way the judging was going, I seemed like I might do okay.
Now, what is your current height and weight, bud? Just so people have an idea of your size and stuff.
As of today, it's like 5'10" and a half. Hopefully, day of the show, it's still 5'10" and a half. And I'm like 202 pounds right now. I think the cutoff is 200.
Okay.
So, as long as my height stays where it is, I'm good to go.
Good to go. Go ahead and tell us about the workout you did today, the movements, and what you like about each one.
So today's workout was, I've been doing actually a lot of high frequency training, not really heavy with as far as the weights or a lot of volume, but I'll do, a body part 2 or 3 times a week instead of doing, chest and tries on Monday, then coming back next Monday, hitting chest and tries again. I'll do chest and tries maybe Monday, then hit it again on Wednesday, then maybe Saturday, and the same thing for legs, hitting legs, 2 or 3 times a week. So every body part, lately, I've been hitting 2 to 3 times a week. So today I just did a little bit of everything, some back, a little bit of biceps, some chest. I did a lot of rowing movements today, trying to work on really bringing in the detail and the thickness. In my back, I got maybe 4 more weeks until the show. So.
Oh, and go ahead and tell people what show you're doing.
I guess I'm planning on doing the Charlotte Cup, and then after that, hopefully the Europa, and the ultimate goal is the Junior USA in Charleston. It's in May.
Okay, good enough. What's your diet like going into the show, bud, as opposed to when you were competing in bodybuilding?
The diet right now, in the past, I've always, kind of gone extreme, and I'll, take the carbs out and, do very little carbs and do a lot of cardio. This year I've been more moderate. I'm still eating quite a bit of carbs. Cardio is not that excessive, maybe 30 minutes a day. And I'm doing things a lot slower instead of, trying to, do 0 carbs or, do like a keto diet or something like that with 45 minutes to an hour of cardio. So it's just a lot more moderate this time around.
Okay. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about the inclusion training that you do, bud, and how you discovered it actually.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting story. I was in Japan about 15, 16 years ago, and I saw these guys that were just, jacked with these huge arms, and they had these bands tied around their arms, and they're doing, all these crazy curls and stuff like that, and they got these bands on, and I didn't really understand what was going on. I saw it, the guy tried to explain to me, but I didn't really understand it. And then maybe 10 years later, there was some actually science behind it that came out here in the U.S., and people were, publishing, scientific studies, and they were, they had some research behind it about why it worked, why it was effective, what the benefits were. So after reading up on that, I said, well, these guys were doing this 15 years ago, and it seemed to be working for them, so I'll give it a shot. And I kind of incorporated it into my training, not as really the main thing I was doing for arms, but just as something to do, as an additional arm day. Instead of doing a heavy day, you could come back 2 days later, use less weight, use the bands, and kind of get the blood flow in there and still get the same benefits, stimulate the muscle the same as you were doing heavy weight, but not really tearing down the muscle, so you can actually train more frequently. Like I said, I was doing, high frequency training now, so.
Okay. And what's the, just so I find it interesting, go ahead and tell people kind of the culture. You said it's more. Go ahead and explain that. I guess what it's like over there as opposed to here in the States. Whoops.
Yeah, in Japan, the bodybuilding culture is it's kind of underground. It's not as mainstream as it is here, but the guys over there are really they have some really good guys over there, and they they're very dedicated. They're super disciplined. They diet hard, train super hard, and they take this, they just do everything 100%. It's like, they don't mind suffering, and they kind of really just enjoy, dieting hard, suffering, and it's like they take pride in being able to do that. So it's just a lot different, than it is here. But I think it's gaining popularity. They, Hide Tada's from there. I met him 15 years ago, and he's been really good for putting a spotlight on Japanese bodybuilders and I guess Asian bodybuilders in general. So
Good. Good luck in the show. So 4 weeks for that, and then
we'll see. Four weeks for I think the Charlotte Cup. 4 or 5 weeks. Europe is after that, and then Junior SAs after that. So that's kind of the ultimate goal, is to do the Junior SAs and do well there.
Okay, bud. So what actually drove you, or what interested you in the industry, bud, that kind of get you into bodybuilding and the whole fitness lifestyle and stuff like that?
I started working out and lifting weights when I was in high school, just playing sports. I played baseball in high school, so the coaches are like, "Oh, you gotta train with weights," and we were like, "Ah, we don't want to do that. We just want to play ball." And I started training with weights, and I realized I liked that a lot more than I like playing baseball. So kind of stopped playing baseball and just stuck with the lifting weights, and it was just a natural progression really from training with weights, and what's the next step? The next step is kind of competing, and at that time there was just bodybuilding. There was no really men's physique or classic physique or whatever. So I competed as a teenager, I think at 172 pounds, and at probably the same height, and it was a really good experience. I had a lot of veteran bodybuilders around me that were really helpful and kind of showed me the ropes and said, "This is what you got to do. You got to diet. You got to cardio. You do your cardio. You got to pose. You got to do this. You got to do that." So it was just something that I kind of fell into, and I really enjoyed, and I just stuck with it, and had some good feedback. People said, keep going, and if you have a little bit of success, you kind of want to keep going to see how far you can really go. And then, like I said, I got to a point where it was just like, well, I'm here, but am I really going to be able to go here? And that was when I tried the men's physique, and didn't know what direction I was going to go. And because open bodybuilding, didn't seem realistic for me. I'm not going to be 240 pounds on stage. So
you're not a teeny guy by any means.
yeah, I know. But at my height, if I'm 5'10", you look at like Dennis Wolf or something. It's like 5'11". He's 285 pounds. I mean, it's just not realistic at all. So I tried these other divisions, and I didn't do well. For whatever reason.
Were you a bigger kid in high school, bud? Did you respond to the weight training? Right?
I did. I think before I started lifting any weights, I was like 155 pounds, and then after 6 months of weight training, maybe a year of weight training, I think I gained like 15 or 20 pounds, fairly quickly. We had a coach in high school that was like, bench, deadlift, squat. That's all we did. We didn't do anything else. So we would go and do that, in high school, second period, bench, deadlift, squat. Then after school, go to the gym, do the exact same thing, bench, deadlift, squat every day. So we would do that every day, twice a day, 5 days a week. We didn't know any better. And for some reason it worked. I guess, when you first start out, your body responds to anything. So
yeah, I think when everyone's younger and stuff.
Yeah, you just do whatever.
Yeah.
So then, there were some older guys in there that were bodybuilders, and they were wearing the big parachute pants, the big baggy cutoffs, and they're like, "You guys got to quit doing this. You guys are gonna kill yourselves. You can't bench and curl and squat and all this, do the same workout. You guys are doing one workout every day." And we're like, "Oh, but that's okay. We're doing it early in the day too." And the guy's like, "Are you kidding me? You can't you can't do this. But, we didn't know any better. So, he finally said, the only way you're going to really be able to grow is whenever you give the muscle enough time to rest and recover. And we were like, oh, okay. So we started, buying these magazines and, trying to get books. Like, I think my friend got the Arnold Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding or something. We started trying to read up on this stuff before we didn't know what we were doing. We were just going in there and lifting weights. But it was, it was fun back.
Is there anyone you'd like to thank, like support, or anyone, family or friends?
Family, friends, training partners. It's been a long time with me competing and bouncing around from division to division, and I've always had a good support system around me. I've seen a lot of my friends turn pro and do well, so everybody's like, you got to get your act together, you got to do it this year. So hopefully if all goes well,